What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got UFC Fight Night, Lopes versus Silva over there in San Antonio, Texas. Predictions breakdown here, guys. 14 fights in the card, early card at 3 p.m. Before I get started, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to this channel. Also check out my Patreon account for all my favorite prediction and prop plays. You can also donate to my PayPal account. You can also check out Wayne Gaethje for more health and wellness, more fitness. You're trying to lose weight, dealing with some imbalances, just overall a more healthier lifestyle. You can check out Wayne Gaethje, or the links will be down below, right? Like I said with every card, man, every fight card is always good for me. I don't judge a card by the cover, right? They say, you know, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get, right? So you just never know. And a lot of these guys, you don't know, because some of them are kind of new. So you need to go in there, put the work in, and we see what happens, right? So it's not easy to go in there and then get hit in the head. You know what I mean? They put in their health on the line each time they go in there, you know. So, you know, you got all type of different damages that you can get from competing in this sport. So, and like I said, it's a sport, right? But before I get started, though, guys, I want to give enough respect to the new subscribers and the old ones too. A lot of people just subscribed. And I want to give a shout out to the UFC Fight Tracker, right? He helped out a lot. You know, he tracks the picks and the plays. And it helped a lot of us, you know, to see who, you know, I guess every week to see who, I guess, does a better job, right? But at the end of the day, it's all love. At the end of the day, it's all the community. We all work together as one, because at the end of the day, it's still an illusion, right? But I mean, he helps it a lot to bring more subscribers to our pages, and enough respect out to the UFC Fight Tracker, right? So we're going to jump into this real quick here again. Like I said, enough respect out to all the new subscribers. You know, like I said, I have a couple that came in, like at least like 40 or so. So, you know, I did good in the last card. So, you know, yeah, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm grateful and humble at the same time, right? Flying to this real quick here, guys. 14 fights on this card. This card here, man, every card is different. And some cards can be kind of close as far as the breakdowns and predictions goes, but every card is not usually the same. So this one is a little more trickier, guys. It's a little more difficult because a lot of guys in here, or some of the guys I don't really know, you know, they're making their debut, you know. So it can go anywhere. Nothing guaranteed in this game, right? A couple changes there, which I will mention for short notice. But we also have, I believe, the tough 33, I believe. I could be wrong about that. So these guys are pretty much, you know, they made it to the finale, right? So it's a tough 33 here. Guys is going to compete to see who's the final winner, right? So let's jump into this real quick here, guys. First fighter, we have Rodrigo Cizanado versus Daniil Donchenko. Rodrigo here. I'm gonna go through this real quick here, guys, especially for this card here. You know, tough 33, BJJ black belts. We'll mix it up. We'll blitz in with his strikes. Kind of transition to the takedowns. Can get sloppy at time with the strikes. You know, we'll wing a lot of punches, kind of brawl, but pushes a grindy kind of fight, put against your cage, and will just kind of sit, you know, against the cage with you, kind of fall down to double, single, but sometimes doesn't get it, but it's just hanging out there. And he can also get taken down. So, you know, he has a BJJ black belt, which most of the BJJ black belt guys, they don't mind getting taken down, but some of them will just stay on the back. He will scramble back up, but he gasses out, though, as the fight goes on. He gets really, really tired, dude. And he can get flat-footed in the fight, too. Right, his opponent here, I'm gonna say Donchenko. I'm just gonna use Don. Seems to have more experience, and as far as the rounds, you know, fought a lot of, like, I believe 5-round fights. He went to 4 rounds here, but he seems to have more experience, even just by the fights, right? He will look to strike also. As well as wrestle. So this guy mixed up pretty well. Kind of remind me of Jake Matthews in a kind of way, the way how he fights. He can be hittable at times, though. You can catch him with like one shot deal. But he mixes it up well on the foot, though. You know, especially, you know, with the strikes. He usually follows up with the leg kicks, then follow up with punches or punches to leg kicks. So he transitions and through the techniques, you know, like in combination form, right? But he's pretty well rounded, very technical guy. Put a lot of pressure on you coming forward. He can get taken down as well, but he scrambles up pretty well to his foot. But he gets stronger as the fight goes on, though. You know what I'm saying? So Rodrigo slows down as the fight goes on, and this guy gets stronger as the fight goes on, right? Like I say, he kind of reminds me about Jake Matthews, man. Very, very much. The way how he fights, similar to Jake Matthews. The only thing I like about him a lot more, though, is that he transitions with the techniques, with leg kicks or punches. It throws a lot of combinations, right? So I'm liking Don here, man. I'm going to say Don by decision, but again, this is a tough 33 fight, so anything is possible in this game, nothing guaranteed, guys. But I'm going to say Don by decision, but it's 50-50, all right? Next fight, we got Alice Pereira versus Monstrat Rendon. Remember, guys, this is Nacho UFC, so a lot of the Mexican fighters, if you go decision, they could win. You know, we see robbers all the time. I speak about this, and you know, it doesn't matter what, you know, whatever region or hometown you're in. You know, I mean, they would favor the fighters, man, and some would rob you more than others, and the judges too. So, you know, just look out for that. Alice here, she's like a prospect coming up, but you know, she don't really have no experience much, right? And you can see by her record, not really much experience, but you know, what I see from her, she looks to strike, very aggressive, still kind of green, only 19 years old, but you know, age and number still. Not much footage on her, you know, but from what I see, she mixed it up, you know, she mixed up well, you know, 5'10", 7'1" reach, so she's a big female, tall. And she strikes well, man, you know, very aggressive, you know, we'll let the hands go. Her combinations are not bad, you know, like I said, she's very aggressive, though, and she hits hard, you know, she goes in there and let the hands go. Quick, fast twitch muscle, in and out movements, just, you know, you can tell when somebody has that athleticism, it's like she has that naturally, right? So, with the techniques, it's just an extra, right? Her opponent here, though, Rendon. Rendon is very hittable, right? Very slow at the movement, and she's predictable. But she's gonna have more experience, though, and she is again one of the Mexican fighters, right? So if it goes to decision, she could win, right? But they're bringing Alice in here just like that. There's no contender series; they just brought her in here. So this is going to be her debut. Coming from Cage Masters was her last fight, right? So with Rendon, though, Rendon with more, she kind of flat-footed, kind of stationary, very predictable. We look to tie up. Doesn't really shoot like that, like double single legs, but she drags it to the ground. You know, her thing gonna be more of the takedowns here. But she has more experience, but her striking is not on the level of Alice, though. I feel Alice is just more athletic, more rangier, quicker, you know, is just more technical with the striking, right? And Rendon is just there to get hit. So UFC is bringing Alice in there for a reason. Rendon could surprise you, though, with the takedowns and just keep her in a side mount, you know what I'm saying? Put her on a side, maybe in a side control, you know, because that's what Rendon does a lot. You know, she will hold you, you know, mostly, you know, in the side mount, have you more in side control and beat you up from there, you know, doesn't really do much, you know, kind of hold you in the, you know, in the guard and hold you there. But, you know, with Alice, though, I see at least a little bit of her ground, and it doesn't look bad. She was sprawl and everything like that. But man, this fight here is a risky one because, like I said, Alice doesn't really have that much experience, you know. So Rendon could win, guys, just based off experience. But it's a fight where I wouldn't mess around with this one too much. But I'll go with Alice, guys. I'm gonna say Alice by decision. You know, just for athleticism, just the timing. For striking is I feel is better than Rendon's one. You know, so I'll go with Alice. I'm going to say Alice by decision, guys, and I'm not confident 50-50. Like I said, the way I see Rendon winning, she takes her down and keep rinse and repeat, take her down, take her down, take her down, and just hold her to the ground because that's what she does. That is what Rendon does in a lot of fights. She takes you down and kind of hold you there. Hold you in side mount, hold you there, right? So yeah. So at least by decision, I wouldn't mess with it. I'd be careful. And like I said, Mexican fighter, so it could go decision. All right. Next fighter, we got Alessandro Costa versus Aldain Cora. Some short notice here. Short notice for Aldain Cora, right? Acosta here. Acosta is a pretty legit guy, man. Pretty well-rounded guy. Will mix it up. Looks for the submission. Craft on the ground. Will definitely submit you. Heavy with the leg kicks though. His left kick, he attacked the legs a lot, right? His opponent here though, Cora is making his debut here. He looks game. He looks well-rounded. You know, will strike at distance. You know, look for takedown. Him and Costa kind of fight kind of similar though. They have kind of this the way how they move in there and their techniques, and they will strike and go for takedowns and look for submission is pretty similar, right? But he's going to have 4 inches of height in this fight, but short notice for him. And like I said, you know, a guy like this just coming to the UFC, you know, there's a non-contest here overturned. I don't know why overturned for that fight, but making a short notice here. And you know, against Costa is more experienced here, so it's kind of difficult to go with Cora. And what I see from him is just, you know, I mean, he's game. You know what I'm saying? Kind of remind me of Costa a little bit. They kind of fight similar, you know. But like I feel Costa's have more experience. So I'm going to go with Costa here. I'm going to say Costa by submission in the 3rd round, guys. All right? But I'm not confident. A lot of these fights, I'm not confident in it, guys. Like I said, this card is a little more tough. A little more tougher than the last card. And it's a different kind of feeling in this card. All right? Next fight here, guys. We have Zachary Reese versus Cedric Dumas. Zachary Reese here. Zachary is a heavy hitter, man. Very rangy guy, quick cover distance, quick by blitzing in. Also, his reach is long, got 7 inch reach, so he gets to you quick, but he does moving forward. But can get knocked down though, and especially, you know, when you get him on the ground, you mount him, you can ground and pound him out. Even if he has you in his guard, you can ground and pound him on. That's how usually he ends up getting knocked out. You know, as the fight goes on, he kind of slowed down, but I noticed that he's been working on his ground game, you know, especially against Duško. You know, he looked good in that fight. The fight went to decision because it's that guy that usually go in there and finish his fight quick. You know, so it's kind of slowing it down a little bit, kind of picking his shot, looking for the openings. You know, he got taken down by Duško, but he was, you know, he got back to his foot. You know what I'm saying? So this is a guy that's actually working on the other aspects of his game. He's not just going there and blitzing and trying to finish a fight real quick, which he can, but he does gas out though. Against Dumas though, Dumas is a question mark, dude. And like I said, I'm not here to disrespect any martial arts or any fighter because, like I said, there's outside issues that go along, you know, with these fighters. Cause check out the Instagram and all these things. So you always do that to see the fighter's mental state. You know, this could be their lifestyle, I guess, diet, or, you know, what they do on the outside. You know, some of them may have a little bit of criminal activity. You just don't know, right? And it could play into your mental, right? Some could be homeless. You just don't know, you know. It's not easy out there too much, you know, when you're dealing with certain things, you know, especially in the system, right? Sometimes they make it hard for you, and sometimes the person does that to themselves because it's you versus you at the end of the day. So there's nobody to really blame but yourself for that. But like I said, I'm not here to disrespect anybody or beat down anybody because, you know, we come with love all the time, right? Regardless, always show love. But Dumas here has striking and he has the ground, but he's hittable and can get knocked down. Like I said, it's not only that, but he seems to be having a lot of outside issues, you know, like recently. And that's why his fight got cancelled because he wasn't able to fight against Jackson McVeigh. He wasn't able to fight in that fight, right? Because he couldn't clear the courts or whatever. So it's just one of those things where a lot of personal issues. Is he training? Like, you know, who is he training with? Is he training consistently? You know, he was homeless, his house burned down or something like that. You know, this is from him though. I don't listen to what other people say because other people, you know, will lie and say things that's not true. I like to hear it from the actual person themselves. I don't judge them, man. I don't judge anybody, but I'm not gonna take, you know, what other people say and believe in it. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear it from the actual person. Because that's what a lot of people do. Oh man, this guy's this. But most of it is not even true. You hear it from the guy himself. It's like, it didn't go that way. Could be lying, but it is what it is. But it's difficult to pick Dumas in this fight here because I just don't know if he's training. He's like been up and down with issues with lawyers and jail and all these things, and he's just difficult to pick him, dude. I mean, the kid has ability. He has a potential, but is he training? You know what I'm saying? He can't. He possibly could beat Reyes. He could beat Reyes, dude. Because Reyes is hittable, can get knocked down. Reyes can get taken down too. And Dumas will push a high takedown game, high wrestling game on you, right? But it's just one of those things where, is he been training? Has he been training? So I don't know. And who is he training with? You know what I'm saying? The thing about this fight, we can look at it like this: Zach actually lost to Cody Brundage, but that was like a slam, into punches. I feel if Reyes fought Cody again, I feel Reyes could beat Cody, but he did beat him though. And if you look at Dumas beat Cody by actually wrestling him, by taking him down and beating him by decision, dude. So, but you can't look at it like that because that's MMA math, and a lot of times when you do that, you will fail. It will backfire in your face. So the reason why I'm not picking Dumas here because I don't know what he's been doing as far as training, and he just have a lot of issues, up and down, and that plays into the mental, which plays into the physical. So I'm gonna go with Zachary Reese. I'm gonna say Zachary Reese by KOTK in the first round, but this fight is a question mark fight because, like I said, Zachary Reese is hittable, dude, and can get hurt in the foot, and he can get taken down and grinded out for a win. So it's a question mark fight, guys. So I'll be very, very careful with this one because Dumas could win, guys. I just don't know what he's been doing as far as training, who he's training with, and just his lifestyle just hasn't been that great. You know what I'm saying? So you can't expect the guy to be training and be focused if his whole world around him is crumbling and have he has a lot of negative things going on in his life, nothing positive. So there you go. All right. So Reyes by KOTK first round. Next fighter, we have Jesús Aguilar versus Luis Guro. Jesús here is well-rounded dude. Will definitely jump your neck for that gilly. Very craft on the ground. Will let the hands go. Will also let the kicks go. Will mix it up. And has decent cardio on him, man. This guy is there. His game. He comes to fight. Luis, on the other hand, he's not bad either. Kind of similar like Aguilar. They kind of have that similar wrestling and striking, but I feel Aguilar striking is better. He will push the wrestling. Luis will also. Aguilar will push wrestling too. Let me see here. I thought that he would beat Odie, but Odie surprised me in that fight. But it also shows that Luis is still not that experienced. Still needs some more work as far as experiences is concerned. This is where experience goes a long way. Odie is just way more experienced. The reach advantage by Odie plays a factor, the speed advantage, but and the strike and everything like that. I feel that Aguilar also has the experience also, and Luis is good. We'll go for takedowns and everything like that, but I just feel Aguilar can mix it up with the striking, and I don't feel Luis striking is that great. I think he relies a lot on his wrestling. Right, and Aguilar can mix it up and also go for submission. So I'm gonna go with Aguilar here, guys. I'm gonna say Jesús Aguilar by decision, guys. 50-50 though, because what I see from Luis, he's not bad, but I just feel like he's lacking some experience, and I feel Aguilar, is a little more experienced, and also has the skills. So Aguilar by decision. I'm not confident. Next fight here, guys. We got Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Loomis. Suarez, your next wrestling base here. Striking still needs some work on her, kind of hittable, kind of stutter steps a little bit. But wrestling is a strong point though. We'll look for the submission, definitely, a guillotine too. Went to decision against Zhang, which is not bad. She didn't win that fight, but obviously Zhang is super experienced, dude. So, Zhang is, is championship level. Not saying that, Tatiana is not. But Zhang fought everybody, dude. From Rose Namajunas, Joanna Josh, Carl Esparza. Which I feel Tatiana fought Carl Esparza to and beat her. But that's the end of her career, though, because she, I believe, 218. Yeah, I think she's Carla is actually retired now. But Cerezo is skill, you know what I'm saying, and that fight probably taught her a lot in that fight against Amanda Lumos though. Amanda Lumos is also skill, heavy striking, well-rounded, decent footwork, technical with the striking, hits hard, but she can get backed up though against the cage, and she can get taken down, which is not good against fighting a person like Tatiana. If you can manage to stop the takedowns and avoid getting taken down, and she can get submitted too, it's not good, man. And that's the thing about this fight. Lumos will strike and touch her up, but Tatiana is game, and she showed with Zhang that she can take a hit and keep coming forward, and she went to decision with Zhang. So I feel she learned from that fight, and like I said, Tatiana was looked up as, one of those women that is going to be a champion, which she probably still can. You know what I'm saying? She fought some good fights and win, and finishing her opponents too, not just by decision. So with Lumos is going to come in there and strike and let the hands go. It's very aggressive, pack a lot of power, and her technique is sharp. But I feel Shiraz is going to close that distance and most likely get a submission. So I'm going to say Tatiana Suarez by submission, guys, in the second round. And like I said, with women fights, it's kind of difficult, even though Tatiana is very skilled, though, and she possesses good wrestling. But there's aspects of her game that still need some work as far as her striking. So, but Lumos, also has a little hole too. Her stand-up is good, her striking, but the ground is like iffy and can get submitted. So, kind of goes back and forward. But Tatiana by submission, second round, guys. Next fight, we got Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Neto BJJ. Claudio here, trained with this kid. I'm always going to say that. Yeah, I trained with him way back in the days, guys. Remember, like, back in the days, I trained at the American Top Team, and also I was also going to, to do MMA, right? To be a pro fighter or MMA fighter, right? But back in the days, I was in focus. You know what I'm saying? That is what I taught. The way I taught. If you watch my videos, I always talk about. I used to be an alcoholic. Pop pills, drugs, and all these things. So my focus wasn't in it as much as it should. Even though I feel I was good, but you have to have that discipline whenever you're doing the games like this, right? Sports or anything like that. You can't be doing sports and on the weekend, every weekend you're drinking and getting drunk and popping pills and stuff like that, right? It's just not going to work, right? So my interest was more into the women and the drugs and stuff like that. Now, the way I am now, in the state I am now, I cleaned up and everything like that. I'm more disciplined now. If I had the mentality that I have now, I would actually be in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'd be a champion or anything like that, because I'm not going to be cocky or arrogant. But I know that I had the skills and ability. It's just that it was my ego was an issue, and also my lifestyle I was living. I was chasing too many women and want to party all the time and drink till I'm drunk and pass out and popping pills and do all the drugs and everything like that. So with that kind of mindset, no discipline, you're not going to achieve your goals, dude. It's just not going to happen. And that was in the past. That was maybe how long was that now? 15, 14 years ago. Like I said, the mentality I have now, I would be in the UFC. I'll actually be in the UFC. I train with the best, and I was at that level. But drinking alcohol, not eating properly, partying, women, drugs, and all these things, it's not going to happen, dude. You have to have that discipline, and that's why Khabib says discipline takes you everywhere you want to go. Discipline will achieve everything you need. You get respect, get your health, get love, whatever you want. As long as you have the discipline, you achieve anything. I didn't have that. Now I have the discipline now, and I know what it is mentally. So I could do it if I wanted to with this mentality and achieve it. But at this moment, no, I have no ego. I'm not chasing anything. I know that this UFC MMA is a game, it's a sport, but it's also an illusion, because it's you versus you. So I focus more on my health now. I know doing the sport can take away your health, so it's not worth it for me at this moment. And me speaking like that is clean. I know there's no drugs and alcohol in my system or no poison in my system. But back then, that's one of the reasons why I didn't achieve it, right? And Claudio was a young kid, and I used to train with him and roll around and stuff like that. And then he achieved it because he stayed focused, and probably the people here around, he had more positive people around him. I didn't really have that. I had a lot of negative things, and I also was doing negative things. So you're around the environment full of drugs and alcohol, then what are you going to expect, right? And women, exactly, right? You're going to fail, right? So, like I said, with Claudio here, more looks for the ground, you know, with more look to knee bar, you look, you know, to lock up a submission here because that's his thing. His striking has improved though, but it's not at that level as far as his ground. His ground is at a high level, so but his striking is not really. But he has improved. Took some time off from his last fight against Zaim, which that surprised a lot of people because Zaim is looking real good right now. But I believe him and Zaim are also friends. So you know, I don't know if that fight was pretty close. Went to a split decision, and Claudio had him in that fight. Yeah, Claudio almost beat him in that fight, right? And you look at Zaim now. He's looking real good right now, right? Having 5-5 winning streak, right? Silva though, Silva Neto BJJ. Neto he's also at the American top team as well. He's skilled, BJJ black belt. Starts kind of slow at times, more of a Muay Thai base than him, kind of get kind of flat-footed at time, but he hits heavy though, and will take your head off. BJJ is his thing, so he knows the ground. Can slow down in the fight, but he will let his hands go though, and he will look for that knockout. So it's a dangerous fight for Claudio if he's going to stand in front of him and strike. Silva, I don't believe, has ever been submitted, but Rufy has never been submitted either. Exactly. And then he submitted him, right? So it's always a first time for everything. I'm going to go with Claudio for this fight. I just feel, I don't know. I feel, you know, with Neto BJJ, he's good, but sometimes he starts real slow, and sometimes he backs up a lot and doesn't really do much. I feel Claudio will just push forward, possibly try to get takedowns, possibly could submit him. You know, a strong possibility because that's where Claudio is good at, and that's his strong point, or just win off of points. But I'm gonna go Claudio. I'm gonna say Claudio by decision. It could be a submission too, guys, because this guy will go in there and get your knee, get anything and submit you, bro. Because that's a hero roll and get it, sweep, whatever he needs to do to get that submission in you. So it's a very dangerous guy if you're gonna roll with him on the ground, man. He looks for your ankle, look for everything, heel, whatever he can get, arm, whatever submissions, right? So I see you have a bunch of them. You have 7. So yeah, I'm gonna go Claudio by decision, and yeah, that's it. Let's move to the next fight here, guys. I just had to share that with you guys there, man. I know a lot of my subscribers don't really know that. I was very close training, you know, training with a lot of top guys. And yeah, you know, the drugs and alcohol will destroy your life, man. You will, you know, you pretty much throw your life away messing around with alcohol and prescription drugs, and you know, and hanging around with negative people. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging around that environment that's, you know, that's negative. Yeah. All right, next fight here, guys. We have Jose Menenda versus Duško Todorović. Jose here, hey man, Jose takes a lot of freaking damage, dude. This guy takes a lot of freaking damage, dude. I mean, all his 3 fights are like a punching bag, bro. But you know, it turns out his fundamentals is not that great, but he has a heart and he can take a lick. But against a table, you can't take a lick from a table because a table hits freaking raw power, and Ortega took him out, man, in that first round. He'll hang in there, you know, take a licking, keep on ticking, but his tennis is more about toughness and can take a punch, which it shouldn't be like that, because like I said, you know what I'm saying, man, you got your life ahead of you, you know, and taking a lot of damage like that, you know, you don't want to be like 40 and you know, age a number, but you don't want to be like even 30 and just can't remember your name, start to slur speech, brain damage. You know, I mean, some of these guys have children, kids, you know, this is a game, man. It's an illusion at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? The only champion is really you, and you don't need nobody to tell you you're a champion. You don't need the belt to be a champion, because it's you versus you. And sometimes it's hard for people to figure that out. I figured it out later on in my life, but like I said, I'm up there in my 40s, right? So even though age a number, but I'm just speaking more on experience, right? So it's a punching bag, right? Against Duško come off a couple of injuries, but he seemed to be okay now. I believe his knee was giving him issues. That same knee just wasn't working for him. He did a surgery, and then surgery didn't go right, mess up his knee again. But this guy here, Duško, his fundamental is better. Has a ground game, striking is so. His head can be up in the air, even when he's going backwards, or drop his hand, can get caught. But his strong point is wrestling. He will look for the submission. He's ground and pound, so his fundamental is better, man. So I mean, this fight here is kind of a toss-up, dude. Like I said, this card is kind of tricky, man. Cause a lot of guys on here are just, some of them are on decline. They're just not that great, right? And a guy like Jose made it into the UFC not by winning the Contender Series. He got in there by losing Contender Series, but he just said the fact that he was fighting a guy that probably, the guy probably should have finished him in the fight and didn't, and he hanged in there with him, so it kind of looks kind of good. And it looked like there was points of the fight where Jose probably could have won, so they brought him into the UFC just for that. He just has heart, can take a lot of beating. I guess they need guys like that. So with Duško, I feel Duško is a better fighter, man. Just all around, ground game, submissions, everything like that. I feel Duško should win, guys, but again, man, and like I said, with Duško, he been dropping the ball a lot. So, but a guy like Jose shouldn't beat Duško, but again, anything is possible in this game, right? So I'm going to go Duško. I'm going to say Duško by submission in the first round. Possibly could be a rear naked choke, but again, 50-50, guys, I'm not confident. So, like I said, I feel Duško is a better fighter. He's more well-rounded, more technical, better fundamental. Duško by submission first round, possibly rear naked. All right. Next fighter, we got Santiago Luna versus Quang Le. Short notice for Luna here. It's supposed to be David Martinez, but just switch around. David Martinez gave him the fight against Rob Font. Luna, from what I see, very wild. All right, but again, he's a next Mexican fighter here, but he's game, and he's 100% finishing rate. Comes in there, let his hands go, will knock you out. We'll look for the submission. Defensive wise, though, he's hittable. If you can time him, you can catch him. Because defensive wise, while he's throwing, you can counter him. Because that's the best time to counter somebody is, in the middle of the transitions of striking. When they're implementing their techniques, they may throw 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, or if they're just going in there, just swinging and the chin is there, that's the time to counter. It's like interception, right? But he has a strong wrestling base on him too. I don't know about Luna too much. What I see from Quang, though, I know Quang is experienced in the UFC. He lost to Chris Gutierrez. He went to decision, which is good because Chris Gutierrez is a good striker. Long, kind of finished him in the third round. Beat Gaston Balanos, which is a good win for him. Quang Le's game, man. We look for takedowns, heavy-handed though. He will counter you and catch you with that left, I believe. So that's the thing. And he also submits you too. But I feel Luna ground game possibly could be better as far as his wrestling. But I don't know, man. Short notice for Luna, again, the 6-0. He could win, but I'm going to slide with Lee here. I'm going to say Lee by KOTK in the first, but I'm not confident, guys. All right? Let's keep going here, guys. Next fighter, we got Alexander Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. Hernandez here is a skilled guy, man, and he's becoming a veteran now, Will push a high pace, push wrestling, will let his hands go. Let me see here. But he's been up and down. Like I said, he has up and downs there. Ego is kind of high. He got checked a little bit, and I believe he got checked by Donald Cerrone. After coming off a winner for Beneil Darius, it was a quick finish. I guess it wasn't his high horse. It happens, we all get cocky. I was arrogant too, and very cocky, and I got knocked off my high horse too, a lot of times. So with Henry here, he's been on a 3-fight winning streak, looking to kind of level it out a little bit, kind of picking his shots, looking for the openings, more veteran kind of vibe on him, right? Diego's a super veteran though. Diego is a guy that's 40 years old, age and number, but he's a super experienced veteran, right? Still in there, still crafty. His loss against Grant Dawson, you know, Grant is a good fighter, man. You know what I'm saying? He got caught against Bobby Green, but it happened, right? But you know, Grant is a skilled guy, man, especially with the wrestling. That's his strong point. So he was pretty much just taking down Diego, kind of grinding him out for the win, because that was a game plan, you know. Even though Diego, you know, held his own, landed some strikes here and there, but you know, the wrestling is what really got Diego down. Hernandez can push wrestling, but he can't push it like that because he will gas out, you know. So he has to conserve his energy, you know. Diego is becoming a little more hitter though, like a lot more hit. You can be able to hit him more now, more hittable. Sorry, he's becoming more hittable now. You know, you can catch him more shots. You know, but I feel like Diego will break you though. You know, he will take you to deep waters and drown you. And with Hernandez, you can drown him depending on the opponent. You know, like I said, with Hernandez, mentally he seems a little better because he was struggling with some mental things, you know, which a lot of the fighters do from time to time, you know. But it all depends on who you fight, and I feel Diego could put him in deep water and melt him and drown him, right? So I'm gonna go with Diego here. I'm gonna say Diego by KO TK in that second round, guys. But I'm not confident again because Hernandez been looking good, and like I said, with Diego, he's been getting a little more hittable. So we just don't know. Anything can happen here. But I feel Diego can break him. And Diego does break people. Especially, you know, guys like Hernandez that mentally can get broken at times. And Diego is still a good fighter, man. And he shows it. He's 19-6, dude. Right? Next fighter, guys. We got Klein. We got Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stockhausen. Kelvin here is the next super veteran guy. Skilled, but doesn't fight at his weight class, dude. This is a guy that potentially could be fighting at 155, dude. Even 145. And he's all the way up there at 185, bro. You know, he's fighting bigger frame guys. But not just bigger frame guys, but bigger guys that are freaking skill. And that's why he loses a lot. You know, he's not fighting at his weight class. He's fighting these massive guys at 185, dude. He should be at 145, 155 at least. Alright? The thing about this fight, though, Dustin's going to be freaking massive in there, man. That's the thing. This fight is a tough one to pick because Dustin, again, will drop the ball. He will fade in the fight. But he's like, you know, that guy that's kind of durable, that can take a licking and keep on ticking forward and just surprise you. He will surprise you, bro. He will look for takedowns, which can get Kelvin in takedowns. He will look for submission, which he can submit Kelvin, because Kelvin been submitted like 3 times. Never been knocked out, though. So this is a risky one, man, you know. And like I said, with Dustin, he starts quick. He comes out the gate quick, but he slows down in later rounds. And Kelvin will bounce around in there and touch you up. But, you know, you're dealing with a guy like Dustin who's like most likely be physically bigger and possibly could be stronger, you know, and he also has skills. It's not just the strength alone. The skills also pay the bills, you know what I'm saying? So with the skills along with the frame, you know, the strength advantage plays a huge factor. You know, I was kind of almost going for Dustin here, but you know, with Dustin, he will drop the ball, and Kelvin will also drop the ball also. So it's just one of those things, man. I kind of pushing towards Kelvin Gastelum here, guys, but zero confidence in this one because I do feel there's something in the back of my head that's telling me Dustin is going to win. Remember I told you that, guys. I feel Dustin could win. I'm just not confident in picking him. I feel more confident, slightly confident in Kelvin because I feel Dustin is going to slow down and Kelvin could touch him up. You know, and just the experience from Kelvin. I don't feel Dustin has experience what Kelvin has, but again, weight difference, you know, could play a factor. I'm going to go with Kelvin. I said Kelvin by decision, guys, but zero confidence. Like I said, I feel Dustin could edge it. Next fighter, we got Gerard Gordon versus Rafael Garcia. Gerard Gordon here is, that guy's a freaking bruiser, man. Like, when I mean bruiser, not a disrespectful way. You know, bruiser, brawler, he goes in there and he let his hands go and he connects and knock you out, dude. He can fight. He goes in there and fight, dude. He put pressure on you. He's durable, but can get knocked out. He can get knocked out. You know, been knocked out, I believe, like 3 or 4 times, I believe. So they used to say that, oh, maybe his chin is not good or whatever, you know, but your face not meant to get hit overall. You know what I'm saying? So if it connects to your head or your jaw, You know, he could get knocked out, and he has 4-bar knockout there. But he's game though. I mean, he's in it to win it, dude. And he looks for the knockout. He looks for the takedowns. He has a wrestling background in him, I believe. Garcia will go in and let his hands go, but he doesn't have anything by knockout much. Mostly submissions though. But with Garcia though, he will kind of hold back a lot and not do much, right? I feel Gerard will do more in this fight, and that's the thing. And I feel Garcia will fade. I just feel Gordon, Gordon has something to prove. Because people doubt him, and they rob him too against Paddy Pimblett, which he won that fight. Clear as day. He clear as day won that fight. And against Nasrat, clear as day. But they're robbing him. So yeah, he has a chip on his shoulder, which he shouldn't go in a fight a chip on his shoulder. But it's more of a control thing, I guess, in his sake, I guess. So I'm going to go with Gerard Gordon here. But again, Rafael Garcia is, a Mexican fighter. So like I said, Nacho, UFC, you just never know. They could edge the win to the most of the Mexican guys, right? But I'm going to go Gerard Gordon. I'm going to say Gerard Gordon by decision, guys, and I'm not confident. Next fighter, we got Rob Font versus David Martinez. Rob Font, man, seasoned veteran, dude, and he has something to prove too. A lot of people doubt him too, and he goes in there and beat these undefeated guys, put a 1 in them, right? He take the O from them, right? Kyler Phillips, the next guy that good on the foot, good movement, similar to David Martinez, but I feel David Martinez moves better, and David Martinez will sit down on his strikes. Kyler Phillips doesn't really do that much. And but Kyler Phillips is still skilled though, but I feel David Martinez moves a lot better. Rob Font here, seasoned boxing, good with his boxing. Takedown defense has been getting better, but you can still take him down. But he will scramble back up to his foot, and he's heavy on the front foot. That's the thing, man. He's heavy on it because he plants and he let his hands go boxing, right? But he's heavy on that front foot. And David Martinez will chew the legs up. Throws a lot of heavy leg kicks as well as unorthodox techniques. More of a karate status is on point. His range distancing is on point. His counters, timing, his kicking game, his boxing. Dude, this guy is on point. His movement, his speed, is just his precision, and the way how he just like his recovery. He doesn't stay in one place for too long. And if you do, say you catch him with a punch, he recovers quick, and he's just out of there. And his movement is very, very good, man. His timing is on point, bro. I was kind of going for Rob, but when I watch, David again, and I see him move, and I was like, damn. Rob doesn't really move his legs that much, and he's kind of very flat-footed. And on that front leg, man, I feel David Martinez, obviously, they're gonna see that. And they're going to tear up Rob Font legs, dude. They're going to work his legs a lot in this fight. They're going to tear up his legs, and Martinez does throw heavy leg kicks consistently. Just like similar to that last fight, where I told you that the guy was going to win by leg kicks, remember? I told you that in the last breakdown. I literally told you in the first round. Literally in the first round, that was it Caio Fernandez, right? That he was going to win by KOTQ in the first round and possibly by leg kicks. I'm not sure if David's gonna, if he's gonna win by leg kicks, because Rob is still durable and Rob will eat it. Because that's just a veteran, man. He would take it. May fall down, get back up and keep going, but he ain't gonna give up by leg kicks, dude. He gonna keep hopping around and keep fighting. Dangerous fight for David though, because like I said, this is not a fight wasn't a fight for him, right? But they switched the fights around. And I believe Rob was supposed to fight, I believe that kid. What's the name of that kid? Raw Rose Jr., which I feel like Rob would have beat Raw. I feel Rob could have beat Raw. In this fight, though, because of the movements of David and just the freaking leg kicks alone, I feel David can win this fight. And David is also defensively sound. I know it's 12-on-1, but those things I'm telling you about David is kind of difficult to pick Rob, and Rob is he's slow at the movement. David has a speed on him, and just his time and his technique is on point. And David is not like his sister. Like, no disrespect to his sister. His sister is good in her own way. I think her name is Melly or something like that. Everybody is different. Everybody has a little more light in them, a little more energy. Brothers and sisters. I feel David carry the torch a little better. That the technique is more sharper. So I'm liking David, man. I just feel like the speed advantage, just the leg kicks, and Rob is very flat-footed. Even, the boxing from David is not on the level of Rob, but, he can counter, though, because Rob is slow on the movement, dude. He can counter. Come counter with that straight. His timing is on point. I like his timing. So I'm going to go David. I'm going to say David by decision. But I'm not confident because I'm not going to sleep on Rob because he will go in there and he will, he will expose these guys. Not saying that David is not good, but he will go in there, beat Gene, took his O, beat Kyler Phillips. Guys that we thought could beat Rob. And, he shows that he can beat Adrian Yanis. You know what I'm saying? He go in there and beat these guys. So the guys that you think that, supposed to beat him, he go in there and then he beat him. So he still has it, man. But David moves around well, man, and pick his shots very well. So his counter is good and just the leg kicks alone. I'm going to go with David. David Martinez by decision, guys. All right, main fight in the card, we got Diego Lopes versus Gene Silva. Very interesting fight, man. And, we're looking at this fight as like, oh, fighting nerds. This guy here, Gene Silva, is the last one to hold it, to hold the torch. Is he gonna, kind of bring back the fighting nerd, or is he gonna go on a 0 and lose? Just like Rufy, right? Or the other guy there, I forgot his name. The other fighting nerd guy, Rufy and KO, right? So his Gene is gonna go down too. The thing about this fight here though with Lopes that I noticed that, Lopes is skilled. And especially on the ground, he will submit you, and his striking hit very hard, and his submissions is good. I believe 12 by knockout, 13 by sub. I could be wrong, but the thing about Lopes is hittable though, dude. He's very freaking hittable. You can catch him and knock him out or knock him down, hurt him on the foot bad. He leaves a lot of openings, a lot of distance between him and his opponent. He will pressure you, but he's hittable though, and that's the thing about this fight. And he will push the takedowns, but what I see from Gene, which is completely different from Rufy, is that Gene shows his ground game. He shows that he can get back to his foot. He fought guys that are good wrestlers that actually took him down and he scrambled back up and he submitted them. Guys like Charles Jordan, ground game is not bad. Bryce Mitchell, Drew Dober, he fight guys that potentially could have submitted him and use a wrestler in him and take him down. But he shows that he has a good ground game and his scrambling is good, his timing is good, his movement is good. Kind of similar to a Martinez. They move well. In there, it's hard to lock them down. Pinpoint accurate timing on point shows decent ground game. Like I said, he beat guys that can take him down. With the wrestling, and potentially sub him, but they didn't. He ended up subbing them. The only thing about this fight, though, he could gas because it's a 5-round fight, and Lopes been 5 rounds. Gene Silva hasn't. That's the only thing in this fight. But fighting-wise, stand-up-wise, I feel Silva got it, man. I feel Silva got that killer instinct, different than what Rufy has. Rufy don't have that killer instinct and the heart like what Silva has. That's the difference between Silva, Rufy, and KO. Silva has that killer instinct. Like some may say crazy eyes. Like this dude is crazy. A lot of people will probably use that, but he seems like he doesn't. He will go in there and then it's either you kill him or it kills you. I guess that's just what it is. He just has that killer instinct, dude. That maniac mentality. And he shows it. Is it an act? Well, if it's an act, he's doing a good job with it. You know what I'm saying? Rufy doesn't have that, though. You see? Gene is not going to give up like that. And that's the difference in this fight. That's the difference between Gene and the rest of the other fighting nerds guy. He's not going to give up like that. He's different in that kind of way. And you can see it. And his technique, his ground game, his defensive, his takedown defense, his own ground game for getting the submission, taking to the ground. He has that, along with what he's good at, which is his striking, his movement, his pinpoint accurate striking, his timing, his footwork. Lopes has his submission, he has his striking, but he stutter steps a lot. He's flat-footed and he's very square, and he's freaking hittable. He's hittable. And if Gene connects to him, man, I see Gene finishing him. And that's what I got. I got Gene by KO TKO in the second round. Right? Is it a 50-50? Kind of still, based off the fact that it's a 5-round fight. I've never seen Gene in a 5-round. If Lopes can push the fight, kind of take him to deep waters, possibly he could drown him. Strong possibility. So that's something where it's still a mystery in that kind of way. He just hasn't seen him in later rounds, dude. All his fights has been like, he went to decision. He went to third round, but it's cut stoppage against Drew. Yeah, he's been just finishing fights, dude. Probably the longest he's been to is a 3rd round fight. This is his 3rd round, but he's never been to like 4th or 5th. So you don't know what to expect. But I like what I see from Gene, though. I feel like out of all the fighting nerds, he's a guy that's a fighter. You know, there's martial artists, there's fighters, there are technicians. He's a technician too. But I feel Rufig is probably more of a technician. Gene is also a technician too. But I feel Gene is more a fighter. But Gene is gritty, man. I mean, this guy goes in there barking. Arr, 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 arr. I mean, this guy has the heart, like I said. He has the skills. He has the mentality. And a lot of that you can't teach. Is either you got it or you don't. You can't teach heart, right? That's something that is inside of you. Could be from his upbringing, could be the way how he was raised. Some people just have that and some people don't. You can train, you know, to, you know, be a little more aggressive, but you're still in your mind, you know, in your heart, you're going to kind of hold back. Gene Silva loves it. He's in there walking forward. Arr, arr, arr. He's just dodging through shots. He's like, you know, just like, I'm going to kill you. Hit me. I'm going to kill you. You know, he just has that killer instinct, dude. And I said, it's something that you can't teach. So this guy's a fighter. Out of all the fighting nerds, he's the one that's a fighter, that has the heart. All right? From what I see from my breakdowns. So, like I said, Gene Silva, KO TKO second, guys. All right? Quick look at the odds here, guys. See what we're working with. Them crazy odds. This is what is crazy odds looking like, man. Banana odds. Crazy odds. Yeah, man. Just take a look at these crazy odds, man. Let me see what we're working with. Donchenko and Rodrigo. Donchenko 210. You see, these guys don't really know that well, dude. So I like what I see from Donchenko. So should it be 210? I mean, he looks skilled. He looks skilled. He's more technical, more tools than what Rodrigo has. And Donchenko also has a wrestling and the ground game. So I guess 200 is not so bad. But like I said, I don't really know these guys. So I don't really know these guys too much at all. So I'll still be careful, right? At least Pereira and Rondon. She got Pereira at 152, 148. Nah, man. That fight is even, man. Like I said, like I told you, Rondon is more experienced Mexican fighter. With Pereira, you don't know. You know, she's still a mystery. I see a little footage from her fights that I could see. You know, she's not experienced. You know, not that much fights. She looks okay. The striking, athletic, quick at the movement, quick punches. Her timing looks good, you know. And looks better than Rondon as far as stand-up. I see a little bit of her ground. But again, experience goes a long way. So Pereira shouldn't be on 152 at all. You know, or 135 is an even fight, guys. You know, it's an even fight, man. It's a fight where I would even mess with, to be honest with you. So, like I said, I have at least Pereira winning, but Rondon possibly can win, guys. And this is Rondon as an underdog. And what we always say, the house always wins. Believe me on that. Even though they bring in at least Pereira in here just like that. So they obviously put in some kind of money into her, you know, giving her some kind of limelight. So obviously they know that they know something and they see something. So, but be careful. Carrera and Costa 400 and something. Damn, he's freaking high as hell, dude. Short notice for Cora, but I mean, Cora and him look similar as far as skill set. I don't know, man. That's freaking high as hell, man. I feel Costa is more experienced, obviously. I have Costa winning, but 400 and something. I'd be very, very careful with that, guys. Dumas and Reyes. Reyes at 240 something. Still question mark fight because I don't know what Dumas is doing. Dumas is actually really training, taking it seriously. But again, he has issues on the outside. You know, more personal issues. I don't know how much training he's doing, but like I said, Reyes can get caught, knocked down, knocked out. Reyes can get taken down, and Dumas can implement that ground game. So this is a question mark. I got Reyes based off the Dumas. I don't know if he's training or not, and he has personal issues. It plays a huge factor in anything that you're doing, man. It doesn't have to even be any martial arts fighting or competition. Just overall life and health. If you're dealing with mental, personal problems, it affects you physically, spiritually as well, right? This here, Reyes, and this, me personally, is an even, because it depends on what Dumas is doing. He can implement takedowns and pull off a win by decision just by just grinding. Be very careful with this one, guys. All right, Dumas could win. And just like I said, from the prediction breakdowns, I really can't trust him. I don't know what he's doing, and like I said, he's dealing with issues. Jessica Aguilar and Louis Gruel. Oh, they got Louis Gruel as 250. Oh, so they got Louis as favorite. Wow, I'm liking Aguilar, guys. I guess they're probably looking at Louis as more of wrestling and grinding out a win. There's possibility, but I like Jesús though. Experience. I feel Jesús is not a bad fighter. They kind of fight kind of similar, but Louis at 200 and something coming off his last loss against Odi. No way, dude. These odds are rough. I'm liking Jesús, but it is what it is. I guess it could go either way, I guess. But to me, it should be more even in this case. Amanda Loomis and Tatiana Suarez at 400 and something, dude. Damn, these odds are high, man. But the odds are so high on these guys, man. Loomis could beat her, but the fact that she can get taken down and submitted, I guess why the odds are so high. So I guess so. Like I said, Tatiana Suarez is not bad. You know, she is up there. You know, as like a contender, a possibly contender. So, you know what I'm saying. So I guess, you know, man. But I mean, I still be careful. Like I said, with women fights, you gotta be very, very careful because, like I said, some of the women will drop the ball, man. And like I said, the host always wins. All right. Silva and Puelles even perfect because Silva could win. Because, like I said, the Puelles, his striking is not at that level. And Silva can hit. And so, Puelles could go for submission, but Silva never been submitted. BJJ black belt, Neto BJJ. So, even fight is fine with me, but I like Puelles. Duško and Jose. Got Duško at 300 or something. Oh, hell no. Not the way how Duško been looking. Coming off a knee surgery and just back-to-back losses. This fight is even. Even though I feel like he has a better base, fundamentals, everything is better for Duško, but Jose could surprise you somewhere or another, but I don't think Jose even belongs in the UFC. No disrespect. And just, you know, it's just speaking from experience myself and just factual truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to like disrespect anybody, you know, just from my breakdowns and predictions, you know. I don't feel like he belongs in there, but I feel Duško is a better fighter. But just what Duško been doing lately, it hasn't been looking good, and coming off of knee surgeries and stuff like that, it's just difficult, man. Damn, the odds in here are crazy, guys. Alexander and Diego, even fight, no problem with that, because either one of these guys could win. Diego's getting a little more hittable, and Alexander can hit a little bit, but Alexander can also break under pressure, and Diego would put that mad pressure on you, that veteran experienced pressure on him, and break him, take him into deep water and drown him, man. So even is fine. Quang Le and Luna, they got Luna at favorite. I disagree, because Luna, from what I see, is pretty decent, but he's also hittable. Can get caught, and Lee can hit. You know, so yeah, and he's just making his debut. Don't know what to expect. Kind of, you know, favorite, just making sense. I feel Lee more experienced. Lee been there, done that, fought tougher competition. I like Lee, but Lee's underdog, so it is what it is. Dustin and Kelvin at 200 and something? Hell no. Like I said about this fight here is also next question mark fight, man. I got Kelvin, but I'm not sure about Kelvin, dude. Just not sure about Kelvin at 185, man, at all. You know what I'm saying? Dustin could upset them. I feel Dustin could upset this fight, dude. don't trust Dustin enough because he will drop the ball. His fight IQ is not that great either. You know what I'm saying? He's a freaking drop the ball, dude. So, and Kelvin would drop the ball too, especially at 185. So him out 200 and something? Hell no. This fight is at even, and be careful. Gerard Gordon and Rafael Garcia. Gerard Gordon at 200 and something against Rafael Garcia. I still be careful. Like I said, Garcia is a Mexican fighter. Like the other guys in these cards are Mexican fighters too, so you gotta be careful. And Rafael Garcia is not a bad fighter. He could edge out a win also. So, but Jordan, I feel Jordan or Gerard is a little more experienced, a little more skill, in my opinion, right? David Martinez and Rob Font even fight. I don't disagree. I mean, Rob Font could win, but what I see from David ain't bad, man. And David is very, very freaking skilled. So, especially with the leg kicks. The leg kicks is what kind of sold it for me. I see him throw a lot of leg kicks. Breaks your legs down, and Rob Font is very heavy on that front. So, yep. Even fight is fine with me. All the rest of the high odds in these cards, you got to be very careful. Because the odds are very, very high. The main fight in the card, I'm not going to look at it on Topology here. You know, I don't know why it's not there, but I got negative 285. Damn. Honestly speaking, man, to be real, I like Gene Silva. I feel Gene Silva will win the fight, dude. I feel Gene Silva all around is locked in, man. All around a skilled guy, man, and he can fight and he's durable. Diego Lopes can fight too, but Diego Lopes is just more hittable. He's a lot more hittable, dude. A lot more hittable. Way more hittable. To the point where he can get finished, which I feel is a second round KO TKO by Gene Silva. Right? So I feel Gene Silva has that fighting spirit, that fighting heart, man. Yeah, he has a heart for this. He's not going to give up like that. And if Lopez going there and does flat like that and squared, Gene Silva is going to tear him up in there, bro. So I guess the odds being Gene Silva 200 something, I don't really disagree. I feel Gene Silva is one of the best fighting nerds, guys. Yep, in my opinion. Alright, guys, so that's it right there. That's our breakdown there, guys. Any quotes for the day or for the night? Make this video kind of early in the morning. So it'll be early morning. It's pretty much, man, what I've been telling you, about me training back in the days, which I still train. I exercise every single day. But I do it more of a spiritual, more of a health thing, more of a mental thing, to keep moving every day, do a particular movement. Doesn't have to be just hitting a punching bag, but more yoga, more tai chi, more qigong, more breathing exercises, right? More connection to your inner self, It's not no ego thing. I don't have to I'm gonna kick some ass. I'm not into that no more, like that level anymore. Way back in the days I had a big ego, so just focus on what you're doing and keep it clean, keep it natural, the best you can, and know that it's you versus you at the end of the day. And like Cedric Dumas, he has a lot of issues, I guess, but a lot of his issues because he's the one that's causing that on himself. Yeah, the system is there. You can point fingers all you want, and the system is there, and the system does make things harder for you. It's called a Babylonian system. It does make it harder for you. They will always change some rules up and just raise prices on things. It depends if you're trying to live off of the system like that, which you should try to disconnect as much as you can and grow your own food and do things like that, which I'm going towards. But they will make it hard for you. But at the same time, it's you versus you. So there's nobody to blame but yourself at the end of the day. Once you have the education and the knowledge, educate yourself. You make sure that you focus on what you're doing and stay away from the bad company, stay away from the negative things, stay away from the drugs and alcohol, prescription drugs and bad foods, which is all out there in front of you. Stay away from all, of the ladies then, because the ladies then will also trick you. The ladies will freaking trick you, though. I'm not saying not to have a lady friend, but at the same time, you gotta make sure that you know the person that you're with, get to know them properly, not just go out there and busting nuts everywhere, like just busted nuts, because then you could bust nuts and end up with a bunch of babies and end up on child support. That is how it works. That's why I say the system will get you and make you stuck in that matrix, keep you on that freaking wheel, keep you in that matrix, and you're stuck in there. paying child support for 2 kids. That's all. That's it. Depending on what you do for work, that could be your entire paycheck, dude. They can suspend your license, take away your passport. You can't travel nowhere. You're stuck in America, or you're stuck wherever you are. So be careful with the women too, because they will catch you. Stay disciplined on what you're doing. Whatever you're working on, stay disciplined. Stay away from all of the bad company. You will know who the bad company are. People that are freaking try to boost your head up. Yo, man, you gotta go over there and, you know, get that drugs over there. You gotta go over there and then knock that guy out. You know, go, man, you should go over there and rob that guy and steal a car or steal some rims or steal some engine or transmissions. Yo, man, you gotta snort this cocaine, man. You know, man, you gotta hit the cigarette. You know, man, come on, man, let's go to the party, man. Pick up some bitches, man, and get drunk, man, and wasted, man, and come bang them. All that shit right there is a waste of time. Waste of listen what I tell you guys. It's a waste of your energy, dude. You spend your time doing that, or you're doing is spiraling yourself down more into that matrix, dude, where you're just going to be stuck. And along in that negativity vibe, you can end up anywhere. No, you can end up in the jail cell. You can end up with your face in the gutter, just in the dirty water in the gutter, just on the street, you know, in their street, on their streets. You know, they call it homeless. You know what I'm saying? Just looking for pennies on the ground, you know, just on crack cocaine, just all these things play into it, man. You know what I mean? So stay focused on what you want and stay away from the drugs and the alcohol. And the prescription drugs is also the biggest drugs too, what the system offer you. And also the bad food, processed foods, the dead animals and all these things they're giving you to eat. Stay away from those things, man. Keep it more natural, keep it more nature, more fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and herbs. Keep it more spiritual. Keep it more breath work and meditation. And turn off the TV and disconnect from things that's going to draw you down and take your light from you. Right? So these are things that I actually teach on my channel, on my Wayne Get You channel. So if you're interested in that, you guys can go check that out too. Right? It's you versus you. So Cedric Dumas, his issues is based on him. Is based on the reality. Is based on the reality and the realm that he's living in. His environment that he's living in, and the people around him, the distractions around him that keep drawing him down, back, spiraling him down, back into that negative realm. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that you think that, oh man, this guy is making me do this guy's fault, dude, it ain't nobody's fault but your own, dude. This is your own fault. You can turn it off, you can change your location, you can change the food you eat. You can stop smoking. You can stop drinking, dude. Once you quit drinking and smoking, you are on your way. Once you change the way you eat and exercise too, you're more on your way. Once you start banging women, like banging a bunch of girls, you're more on your way, dude. You can keep a girlfriend, like I said, you know, like a friend, you know, but keep it to like one female and have respect. You know, and not just out there just banging a bunch of girls, because all that leads to karma. And all that is negative too, dude. You're just wasting your sperm, wasting your energy, bro. So you got to make sure that focus on what you want and know that it's you versus you at the end of the day. There's nobody to blame. But we are in a system, dude. You got to keep that clear. If you have a social security number, they got a tag on you. You got the phones, they got a link on you. They know your whereabouts, they know everything about you already, dude. Because you have a social security number. Depending on what region you live in and what citizenship you are a part of, you're part of a system. So the system can do whatever they want to do, but you can also disconnect from it if you want to. You wake up to it like, yo, this shit is not what it's meant to be, dude. They're giving me all negative things all the time to look at, feeding me bad food, giving me drugs and alcohol. Everywhere I look is drugs, alcohol, all these things. You know, this is why it's you versus yourself. No, you know that all those stuff is poison. You go the other direction. When you go the other direction, that's where you find yourself. That's where you go into the light. You get your light codes back. You get your energy back. And that's how you protect your soul and your energy, dude, and your spirit. So that's it right there, guys. I just want to share that with you. Check out Wayne Get You for more of that content. And one love out to everybody. Oos.